Folks at home, welcome back to the 5-acre pond build, and it wasn't that long ago that we had an open blank field, but the guys have been working hard and the bass pond is looking good. If you missed the first few videos in this series, I'll put a link down in the description below. So we finally had enough dry weather to where we can start hauling the clay trucks back in to help finish up building the dam. And since the focus of this video is going to be on finishing the dam, I wanted to take a quick second to explain how pond dams are built, because to me it was a little bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be. So this is what a pond dam looks like once it's completed, but let's look at what it takes to really build one. So these are some of the primary components of a dam, and we started off building the core trench, and you dig a ditch the length of the dam and then fill it with compacted clay. And the next thing we did is install the drain pipe and the anti-seep collars. And the purpose of having the anti-seep collars is to keep water from trying to flow down the outside of the pipe through the dam. Now next up is the vertical pipe, or what they call the overflow pipe. So when it rains and fills your pond level up to the max level, water's going to go through the overflow pipe and out the back of the dam. But we're waiting to set this overflow pipe last because it actually sets what your water level is going to be. And since we've had so much heavy rain over the past couple weeks, we haven't been able to work on this core. So instead, we excavated dirt out of the shallow end and built up the front and the back slope of the dam with dirt. So now that we got the clay trucks back running, the last step is to haul about 150 dump truck loads in to fill this clay core up, and then add about 3 feet of dirt on top of that, and the dam will be complete. So we're getting an early start this morning because it's going to be a long day. And since we may only have one day without rain, we're going to try to get all 150 loads in, which is going to be pretty tough because the most we've gotten in any one day before this was 50 loads. So we've got a lot more trucks hauling today. We need those roads to hold up good to keep traffic moving in and out. But this part of it is a pretty simple process. After each truck dumps the clay, we're going to use that bulldozer to push it off into the core, and then use the roller to get it good and packed in. You want that clay to be so compacted that it will never let water through the dam. So far everything's been moving along really good. We got a really good pace going. The trucks are coming in using the roads like they're supposed to, and we're making some really good progress. But on days like this, when you got this many moving parts and trucks and equipment, things are bound to go wrong. So the first mishap was one of the dump trucks tried to come in the wrong road, and once he realized it, he tried to turn around and got stuck. So if you've seen in the previous video, we've basically built like a circular racetrack, and they're really good and packed in because they've had that big blue tractor riding on it for weeks now. But if you get off of that road, either into the clay core or into the sand, it's very easy to get stuck, and you'll see that with several of these trucks. So it's not necessarily always the truck driver's fault because we don't have signs out there showing them which way to go. But after the first few trucks got stuck, we started seeing that this could be a big problem, because it usually takes 1 or maybe 2 pieces of equipment to go over there and get them unstuck. And in some cases, the other trucks can keep dumping, and that puts the dozer operator behind. But in some cases, they get stuck right in the middle of the road, and it'll back 7 or 8 trucks up. And you can see this truck pulled off in the clay cord. That one's definitely stuck. So we're going to have to come up with a little bit better game plan. So I like to get out here and cook for the guys as often as I can. Usually it's just hot dogs or Kaneka sausage, but today we're going to be eating a little bit better. And that's because today's video is sponsored by the fine folks over at ButcherBox. If you haven't heard of them, they provide high quality meats and seafood to your doorstep every month. Let's take a look at the care package they sent me. We're going to start off with 2 wild caught lobster tails, and not 2 but 4 ribeye steaks, and 2 pounds of 100% grass fed beef. And you can't leave this out, 3 pounds of free range chicken. That's the good stuff. We got some more beef with a sirloin, and last but not least, a half a rack of St. Louis cut ribs. Time to fire it up. Alright, today we're going to be cooking the ribeyes and lobster, and for the ribeyes I like to use minced garlic, Dale's, and Southern flavor, and then for the lobster tails we're just going to go in with some Tony's and melted butter. And if you need to melt the butter, all you have to do is set the bowl out in this 95-degree Alabama heat, and it'll melt right up. I have to say, this is the first time I've ever prepared the food on the tracks of a bulldozer, but all I do is put the Dale's and garlic in with the steaks, let them marinate for about 30 minutes. Now for the lobster tails, you just take a good pair of scissors and cut the top shell of the lobster all the way down to the tail. Then pull the meat out, close the shell, and let the lobster sit right on top of the tail. Perfect for the grill. So far I've been really impressed with ButcherBox. Everything is packaged really nicely. I can definitely tell it's high quality meat, and I can see why this company is successful. A lot of people live in areas like this pond location that's 45 minutes from the closest grocery store, and it really is convenient to be able to go on their website, pick out which meats you want in your box each month, and have them delivered directly to your doorstep. You got to make sure to keep applying the butter and not let them dry out. This is free steak and lobster month. If you sign up in the next 2 weeks, you get 2 free ribeyes and 2 free lobsters added to your box. I know your mouth is watering, so I've got a special link down in the video description that'll take you to the steak and lobster deal. So do me a favor and click on it. That'll let them know I sent you, and you'll be happy you did. So we decided to change the strategy with the dump trucks. We got them to pull up to the same point every time and back down the road and then dump. And I'm not 100% sure why this is working so much better, but it definitely is working better. So we're just going to roll with it. So it looks like the Daytona 5-acre racetrack will no longer be in use. So that's where the island's going to be. We still have to shape it up a little bit. We're still waiting on all these trucks to get out of here before we do that. But they just dug us out an old bass hole right here. It's a little deep hole right off the side of this road. So this will be the little road bed that comes up. And then we'll have a nice deep hole right here. Guarantee you 10-pounder is going to stay down in there. So while all of the dump trucks were building up the core of the dam with clay, we kept using the big blue tractor to excavate dirt out of the shallow end to build up the backside of the dam at the same time. But unfortunately, today is turning out to be one of those days. So as the blue tractor came around the corner of the dam, the trailer slid off the side of the dam. But you gotta look at the bright side of it. It could have easily pulled that tractor, and if both of them would have fallen off the dam, I have no idea how we would have gotten them out of there. Got him. So hopefully that's going to be the last big mishap for the day, and things have definitely gotten turned around because the clay trucks are coming in and in a hurry now. The guy that's loading them over in the dirt pit is getting them loaded and sending them our way fast, and the bulldozer guy has definitely gotten behind because he's had to get so many trucks unstuck. And with a big project like this can definitely be one of those stressful periods that you have to go through. Because when you're building the dam, you definitely want to take your time, get the clay lined in there in layers, get it all packed in good. So on a normal project, if the operator's got this far behind, you may just cut the trucks off for the day, get all the clay lined out and compacted, and then bring them back tomorrow. But we're showing rain the rest of the week, and this is probably the only day that we can bring clay in. So it's definitely one of those tough spots. You don't want to rush getting your dam built, but at the same time, if we don't get the clay in, we could potentially have all of this expensive equipment just sitting here the rest of the week. And that could drive the cost of the project way up. So one of the reasons I'm filming the entire pond series and showing all the unfortunate events and then the tough decisions is because I'm hoping that for you future pond builders out there, you'll see a lot of the circumstances that we had to deal with, and hopefully some of this could help you guys in the future. And it's become a pretty regular occurrence for the deer to come out and check out the pond progress every night. And I can tell you folks, there is no shortage of deer on a peanut farm. I think they come through in herds. And at the beginning of the project, they were a little spooked with all the big machinery out here, and they'd kind of stay around the perimeter of the pond, but now they'll walk through the entire pond every night. And here's a look at the bucks hitting the soybean patch, and I still get blown away by how many deer will travel together, because it's pretty common to see like 15 bucks all grouped together, and where I come from, that's just not normal. But usually all the bucks will stick together this time of year, and all the does will stick together, but check that out, there's a spike in the group of does. He's a smart guy. And here's a look at the little bobcat that's starting to grow and put on some weight. Never know what you're going to dig up. Looks like we got an old plow, or a couple plows here. So the guys are slowly getting caught up. We decided to shut the blue tractor down for the day and bring the bucket over there and help him start getting some of that clay in the right place where it needs to be so we can pack it in. So while we watch them work, I've got a dilemma that I want to see if you guys can help me with or have any better ideas. So the next step in this pond after the dam is built is we're going to go in and put a 2-foot clay blanket throughout the entire pond. Whenever you drive your pilings or posts down, typically you go anywhere between like 4 to 7 feet. But in my case, I'm really hesitant to do that because I'm basically punching a hole through the bottom layer of the pond. And I would hate to do all of this work to get the pond to where it'll hold water, and the first thing I do is go punch holes in it and just hope that the clay seals off. So as of right now, I've got two solutions that might work, but I'm still looking for something better. So the first solution would be to dig the area of the pier out down 6 feet and fill that hole back up with 6 feet of clay, and that would allow me to drive the post down 4 feet and still have a 2-foot clay blanket at the bottom, if everything worked out just right. Now my second option would be to have a floating pier, because I'm pretty sure they make floating piers that get anchored back to the bank by cables, and so I wouldn't have to punch any holes through the clay. But my problem with anchored piers is that they're floating right there on the water surface. So just me being a fisherman, anytime you walk out there on that floating pier, you're disturbing the water and basically letting all the fish know that you're in the area. So it may work, but it also may be harder to fish off of in the future. So I feel like there's definitely probably a third option out there somewhere. So if any of you are pier builders or contractors, or even just have an idea on a different way to approach it, leave me a comment down below, because I'm going to need to come up with a decision really quick. Man, what a day. So we finally got the last of the clay trucks delivered, and we actually ended up getting 160 loads in one day, and that was just the right amount to finish out the dam, which is still unbelievable. I really didn't think we could get that much clay in one day. But as you can see, we got the back side of the dam level set. Now we got the clay to the right height where we want it, and the last thing we're going to do is come in and build that inside wall up. And unfortunately, we had one more major disaster today where a piece of equipment caught on fire, but I refused to put it into this video. You'll see it in the next video. We cannot have too much negative stuff in one of these episodes. So that'll give you guys something to look forward to. The blue tractor caught on fire. You'll be seeing that next week. So again, thankfully we had another blue tractor, because we needed about 15 to 20 more loads of that sand excavated out of the shallow area to bring the inside of the dam up. And luckily we were able to get all of that done. So a big shout out to my crew and all the truck drivers. We had a lot of adversity thrown our way, but we pulled through it and we got the dam completed. This is actually the last load of sand coming in for the day. And like always, we saved the best for last. Now we're going to be feeding the most aggressive bass on the planet, Mr. Moby. So I haven't done much filming in the backyard pond because I've been so busy out at the farm, but check this out. It looks like a jungle out here. With all this rain that we've gotten, the plant life is just taken over. Which could be a good thing. I know a lot of the bait fish love having all of those different places to hide. So I'll try to get you guys a lot more of the backyard pond updates here in upcoming videos. And so check this out. The turtles are always so skittish during daylight. So we started feeding them at night. And one thing I found out to do to help the little turtle know when it's feeding time is we cut this floodlight on, and he comes right up to the surface. So happy to see him and the other turtles getting along and everybody eating good. Alright folks, that's going to wrap up this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can follow along with this pond build series, because the best is yet to come. But I hope you all enjoyed this one, and we will see you all next time.